Welcome to another epic show.
We empower people and inspire change. All right, welcome back.
Good morning again.
This is another episode here, and we're excited to continue our trip. It's exciting because day 2 we had probably it was interesting. So it was a more scary experience for you, for both of us, but this one impacted you even more. Let's finish off day 1. Day 1 we finished off at your brother's house.
Yes.
Which was like bittersweet. It was exciting because we were landing at
My brother
family's
was not
house,
there.
but your brother wasn't there, so it was like
we landed at his house in California.
Yeah, in California.
That was a neat experience.
Yeah.
Because that was a little tick box that I had.
Yes.
When we were planning.
Yep.
I went there a couple times because of business.
Yeah.
And I did think about where we're going to land. You know that spot that we landed beside his pool there?
Yeah, yeah.
And I was looking at, and I'm going to land here. I'm going to land here.
It's interesting.
Around the world.
I was just thinking about that as you say that, because it's like you were sitting there looking at that spot saying we're going to land the helicopter there, which was a big thing. And then I'm fast forwarding quickly to Portugal, and it was again like you had been at your house, and it was like, that's where we're going to put the helicopter, right?
These little things. This is interesting. These little things.
Big moment.
At least for me, they give me so much drive.
Yes.
Because I think of them as tick boxes that, okay, it's going to take a lot of work to get to this point.
Yeah.
But I'm going to live the moment.
Yeah.
That minute, that second minute, that 2 or 3 minutes, I'm just going to live it so I can feel that, yes, it was worthwhile. Yeah. All the challenges, everything, the workload that we had was worthwhile to achieve this.
Exactly.
So that was one of them at the his house. And it was like a little bit bitter because after that, at least for me, I have flown in the U.S. and we flew a couple times together in the U.S. Yeah. But I don't think we'd ever flown that further south after, right? No. Because it was mid-California that we had done before. Yeah. So it felt unknown terrain.
Exactly.
That was another chapter going forward.
Yeah. Yeah. So then we flew on to Arizona from there. And
we had a very interesting flyby there.
Yes. Yeah, that was amazing. So we had another guy that wanted to fly along with us. He came along with his Hughes 500, and that was really neat because he actually flew a long ways over the mountains to get to us, and he flew along with us for about 15 minutes or so. That was just
that one that really gave me. We have discussed this before. Yes. When we were doing our book. Yeah. But that one gave me a lot of strength. It was really powerful for me, and I only told you this, when we were talking about this, the book, we were discussing this part, a couple of weeks ago. But the reason behind it was that I really felt there were people that they were thinking and they felt that what we're doing was meaningful, and they wanted to be part of it. Yeah. So
it was going way beyond just us.
Exactly.
Beyond us accomplishing a mission. It was other people joining along for the journey.
That makes such a big difference. Yeah. Because if you did the same trip, 20 years ago, it had no sharing, because nowadays with all social media you can share what you're doing, and we shared, with our tracking, with our vlogs, and with our Instagram and everything. Yeah. But that sharing was a big part of giving us, the mindset to continue with the next leg with a good spirit.
Yes, that good spirit in challenging situations.
Exactly.
Yeah, because there was so many things that happened that they challenge us emotionally, like in a big way. Mentally,
when I saw him coming, that helicopter, and
it's just the things he said, like
landscape.
I didn't get it on the vlog, unfortunately, because it was spontaneous and I just wasn't filming. But
what did he say?
He said a couple of things along the lines of,
welcome
boys, welcome to America. Exactly. It's wonderful to have you in our airspace, and it's great to be along for this epic journey.
He did a nice speech on the radio.
Yeah, it was really fantastic. And then he did a sign off at the end of it, basically saying, it was wonderful to fly with you and all the best, and wish you the best of flying.
Do you keep contact with those guys?
Yeah. He's emailed me several times.
Yes,
we talk back and forth, and he sends
me
video clips of things.
Let's hope we can see them at the expo.
Yes, it'd be really neat.
The trade show.
Yeah, we'll both be there coming beginning of March. So it's gonna be in Atlanta this year. So that should be fun. Yeah, but so that was a really sort of exciting time, I think, for both of us. It was like it almost brought family back in a sense.
That's a good point.
To the journey.
Almost family.
Yeah, it was really neat. And so we finished off that night. What was the town that we landed in? Do you remember?
Tucson.
Yeah, it was. It was outside of Tucson. Yeah, basically.
Oh no, the town that we landed with him.
No. At the end of the day.
Oh, it was a town. Yeah, it was.
It was just outside.
It was Tucson because we slept and we overnight in Tucson, and we chose a cheaper airport.
Yes, that's right. Yeah,
to land.
It was Ryan Field.
Ryan, I think it was.
Yeah, Ryan Field. Yeah, just outside.
Yeah.
And so that was neat. We stayed in a kind of a vintage
historical
hotel. And then the next morning we crossed the Mexican border. That was interesting because
okay, well, so let's talk a bit about the crossing of Mexico, guys.
We thought that we had, because the procedure for going to the U.S. you have to contact customs.
Yes.
Before you enter, otherwise like you're not allowed in, kind of thing. And we tried calling, and we couldn't get a hold of them. And so we
lost radio contact.
Yeah, we lost radio contact, and we tried calling in the air, and we couldn't get a hold of them. And so we
get to the border.
We're waiting at the border,
and we saw. I think it's Tijuana.
Yeah.
So we go to the border, and we look at. Actually, there's a wall there.
Yes.
That part.
Physical wall there.
There's a physical wall.
Yeah.
So there's Mexico. We're so excited. Okay, there's Mexico. Okay, we can't get in. Wait a second. Are we authorized? We're authorized. No radio contact.
Yeah.
And we thought, oh man,
and we got to do this right. Like we're not going to mess up. Well, let's back up for a second. Talk about the reason I think part of the fear was we had been told by our insurance company, if you don't get this special insurance, we had insurance for the whole trip, but if you don't get this special insurance just for Mexico, you're gonna, if you arrive at the border, like at the airport, they will throw you in prison if you don't have this special. And this is verified. This isn't just a story.
No,
like this is verified information.
People, yes.
Yeah. So I think that was putting a lot of fear in us.
Right. Exactly.
Like if we screw up a procedure, we're done here. Like
probably, you know, they know about the insurance procedure, but nobody has talked about this procedure that we're going to blow up.
Exactly.
We're going to end up somewhere.
Yeah.
That we're not planning to.
Oh man! So I'm trying to call on the phone, and it keeps. I get like one bar of signal, and then it drops it. So I get like halfway through the dialing, and you know it goes to a automated voice. I'm trying to get the right one, and drops the call. Oh man! Finally we get through.
circling.
Yeah.
In the U.S.
We asked somebody.
I think it would circle up probably 20 minutes.
Probably, yeah, through broken conversation because it was like horrible signal. They said, "No, you don't need any clearance to get in. Just go." It's like, oh, okay.
We felt a little bit stupid.
We did, yeah.
For 20 minutes to get into Mexico.
But we felt good to know at least. I mean, it felt good to know.
We're very conscious.
But it was interesting, yeah, crossing that border and just flying into new territory, new airspace.
And we landed in Hermosillo.
Yes.
So what happened when we landed in Hermosillo? Tell me, Misha, because we landed there.
It was an eye-opening experience for me because it started what you coined later to be called the power of nice, and it's a term that you've thought about many times over the years and stuff. And I don't know if you'd really coined it to a specific thing where you just thought about it as a principle, but at this point,
I've thought about it as coining it as a very important thing.
Yeah, you wanted to even write a book about it, kind of thing, and I think it'll end up as a full section in our book when it comes out. So, but this was, to me, it was just sort of the first introduction to it. So it was we land. There's people that come out. There's guards that have guns, and
there are always multiple guys, right?
Absolutely.
Not even one guy for the class.
There was
like 3 or 4 or 5.
There was 3 or 4 or 5, yeah. And I could see there was different guys, guards, positioned in different parts of the airport. They were armed guards, and so I'm like, okay, this is interesting. And they all come at us, and you hop out, and I'm so glad that you spoke Spanish. So you hop out and you start speaking Spanish to them, and just enthusiastic and excited, and telling them what we're doing, and we're doing this world trip, and they started out with kind of stark faces, like, what are you guys doing, kind of thing. And then all of a sudden they started opening up, and they were excited about our trip and whatever. And it was interesting because it was the first experience that we had on this trip of the power of what that can do. So the one guy looks at the other and says, well, we need to inspect the aircraft, right? And he goes, yeah, I guess so. Whereas before, it was like they were going to tear the aircraft apart and inspect everything, right? Yeah. So they're like, okay, well, take your bags out. So we take our bags out. Okay, open that bag up. So we kind of start unzipping it and start opening up. What do you got in there? Some clothes. Okay, you can close it back up. You can put everything back in the helicopter.
That was done.
And it was done. And I was like, wow.
But it wasn't the whole thing done.
But no, that wasn't the whole procedure. But that was the inspection
bags.
of the aircraft, and and we had known that the inspection of the aircraft was going to be a big deal, right?
Yeah.
And so that was the power of already they were trusting you, of who you were and what we were doing and stuff like that, and just that power of the way you treated them,
treating people, the way you treat people.
It was amazing.
Either closes doors, open doors.
Yeah.
and we felt that so many times during the trip.
Yeah.
And we started mastering it, I think.
Yeah.
We started mastering with fuel, refueling,
Absolutely.
with customs, with military, with authorities in different situations at the airport, with handlers, everybody.
There was so many things on this trip that would have taken so long. People were telling us, "Oh, this country here, you gotta plan on at least an hour, probably an hour and a half at the airport."
Like Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia, and we would spend 12 minutes on the ground and be gone and ready to go again. Or places where you weren't allowed to have cameras, and all of a sudden within 15 minutes,
the police was telling you, "Can I take a selfie with you guys?"
The police are taking selfies with us, like, "Hey, can we get a selfie with you guys?" And so like very different in the way that people interact with you. Yeah, that was super interesting.
Really, really neat.
Yeah.
So that was the Mexican experience, and then we were going through one person after another, and this is something about these countries that I'm used to it because I was raised there, right?
I was not used to it.
You're not used to it. So you said, okay, there's one. Is it done? Okay, is it done? Okay, done, right?
I kept asking, okay, when are we ready? You speak the Spanish. Are we done yet?
I said, no, it's not done yet. So what is it done? There's the next step, right? So you want to see the numbers. Okay, why don't I go 1, 2, 3, done, right?
Yeah.
But the problem is that we don't have the 3 numbers.
No.
It could be 6 numbers, 7 numbers, and they don't tell you it's going to be 7 or 8.
No.
And the next one, you always think that's going to be the last one.
Yes.
And you're hoping to receive that confirmation, but all of a sudden you think that's going to be the last one because everybody's nice and we went well, right?
Yeah.
But there's a next step. Yeah. There's a next step. And we found a lot of next steps in that airport, one after another. You guys, I think you and Joe were eating, and I was going through different.
I was just going to mention the eating. I had forgotten all about that, but we had brought food from Tucson, breakfast, but it was super early when we left. We didn't want to eat it, so we wanted to eat it when we got there. And I think we were going to eat it in the helicopter. And then when they met us, they're like, no, you can't take it with you. You can eat it here at the airport, but you can't take it. We're not.
Get rid of it with your mouth.
You can't. Yeah, you can't take it with you in the country. So like, okay. So we ended up having to go into the lunchroom of these guys. And these guys, they started out as like these rough, gruff kind of military guys or whatever. And then like we're in their lunchroom and he's like sitting there with us and he's like trying to talk to us and like, can I get you anything? Do you want some water? Like, and I'm like, you're still there doing paperwork, getting stuff stamped
one after another.
And I'm sitting there eating my breakfast, in their little lunchroom. And this guy's coming in saying, oh, can I help you? Can I get you anything? And I'm like, wow, this is like a very different experience than
and
what
it's
I
so
was
different
expecting.
these countries because I remember when actually I was talking with the airport director, I think he was.
Yeah.
And then we had to pay some fees, and he said, well, you either pay the bank or you pay me, which is, I think it was not for him, seriously.
No.
It was not for him.
Yeah.
But it's faster. You have 2 options. You go to the bank. So how do we pay these fees? Well, you have to go to the bank. What do you mean go to the bank? No, what do you mean? It's just a helicopter going to go fly away. No, I have a solution for you. Yeah. So you give me this cash, and I'll give the receipt.
Yeah.
I'll give the receipt, but it's going to be a little bit more expensive.
Yes.
So you want like $100 or $150, something like that, right?
Yeah.
And $150, I take care of everything.
Yeah.
Whole package. And it's
he physically goes to the bank and deposits.
And I'll have to go there and because it has to be paid in pesos, and
Yeah.
I'll exchange the money and have a little thing for all the
Yeah.
all my work, right?
Exactly.
And I said, I'm fine with that. Okay, let's charge me the $150 and get this done.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it'll have to be tomorrow morning.
That actually became a funny joke because every airport was so dramatically different in the fees that you had to pay.
Yes.
And so it became a joke because you would come out of the airport or out of the office or whatever, and you'd be like, oh man, that was an expensive one. Guess how much that one was? And I never knew how to take it because I was like,
is it a real
was
one?
it actually a really expensive one or was it like super cheap? And every time it was different. So like sometimes it'd be like $150. I'm like, that's a lot coming from Canada. That's actually a lot for a landing fee.
Well, we had a couple
right?
of them at $10.
And then
I was
some of you
hyping
came
up the ones at $10.
Ooh, that one was really expensive. I'm like, how much? You're like, $2.50. I'm like, wow, that's a big one.
We had so much fun with those little things.
Man.
Just playing around with the situations that were putting us in, a different experience. Like,
yes.
Okay, how much is this going to be?
Yeah.
And the value was never there because sometimes we had very good service.
Yes.
Super cheap.
Yeah.
Horrible service, super expensive.
Exactly.
So going around
and like
the world,
the amount of people had no relation either, because you could have like 5 people helping you, and they're all doing everything they can, spending all their time, and they're there with you like for half an hour or more, and it's $2.50. And then you go to another airport, and this one guy comes out with a backpack, he's like, here, sign there.
Yeah,
okay, great. See you guys later. 15 minutes later, you're gone.
$700.
And it's like $1,700 or something. And it's like, wait a second. How does this work? That doesn't make any sense.
So we had a very good welcoming in Mexico. Then we continued our trip, went to Mazatlan.
Yeah.
I will never forget that whole day of just coastline.
Yeah.
When we go to Acapulco, right?
Yeah.
Remember just flying to Acapulco? And we could do literally anything we wanted.
And this is where your personality and my personality differ. So, like, I enjoy, like, desolate, remote nothingness, but I don't want to stay there. Whereas you could happily just stay there. So, like, we're in these remote locations with these beaches of nothingness and nobody, and you're like, I'm in heaven right now. And I'm like, it's beautiful. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's amazing. But, like, I don't know if I'd want to, like, spend 2 weeks here kind of thing, right?
Just love to
and you're like, man, I could just, like, I could live here.
This
like,
is the place.
Give me a little cabin right here and I'm done, right?
Exactly.
Whereas, like, I like remoteness, but, like, being connected to people and stuff, too, right?
I just
so, like, this
more and more I want to be remote.
Oh, absolutely.
Should we tell people what happened there with Diogo?
Sure, why not? What's going to happen? It's done now.
Okay,
it's
so
not like the Mexican authorities are going to come
just
after us.
fly along the shoreline. Then
Poor Diogo in the back.
Diogo says,
I don't feel so good, guys.
I'm not feeling well. Then we look at him. We look at him and said, he's not feeling well. He was white.
We look back and we're like, dude, you're white. Like,
he's white.
You're not good.
So I told you, Lucia, we have to land now.
I'm like, we can't land. We're not allowed to land in Mexico. Are you kidding me? This is
we
not
going
to happen
now. and we
we're
just found the place. And Diogo, and it's interesting how the brain works because he heard the conversation, so it got more intense, right?
Yeah.
His gut was just working very quickly, and he's looking at us, and he felt that it was an opportunity to land. He said, "Yes, I have to land. I have to land right now." And we said, "Okay, let's land right now." Yeah. And I told you, just land. Let's go. I think you were flying. Let's land. So we went straight away. We landed nowhere in the beach. There was nobody there.
Nobody around.
Really remote.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we didn't turn off the engine.
No.
And then Diogo had to pop out. He went to do his thing. He got much better.
Oh,
much
man.
better.
Yes.
And we felt thankful that we were in the middle of nowhere. Not
on radar. Not on radar. Because I was scared because I was like, we're in Mexico. There's so many
controlling.
Like a lot of the stuff is, it's drug running and there's so many things, right? And I was like, man,
there'll be a reason to control.
If we're on radar, like, not good. They're gonna see a helicopter landing on the beach. This is not gonna be a good situation.
I think it was almost a pan medical.
Yeah, but it was pretty close to a pan. Like, it was a pan or something bad was gonna be happening. Yeah. Something that an air sickness bag wouldn't help with.
No.
And yeah. So anyway, so that happened. That was. Yeah, we can talk about those kind of things now. It's kind of fun.
We're so
and I think
motivated.
with this audience, they'll understand that we were being very conscientious of the dangers of it, and
listen, there was no other possibility there.
No.
What would happen?
No, exactly.
It was a medical situation.
It was definitely a medical situation.
And we're in the beach. Nobody was there.
No, exactly.
We landed at the sand, right?
Yeah.
We didn't compromise anybody's safety.
No. So anyway, so then we continued on.
Acapulco was a big moment because we knew we had press there waiting for us.
Yeah.
We had a press conference.
Big press conference.
We were preparing, I'll say weeks ahead. Marcelo did a wonderful planning for us. Yeah. He prepared the landing at the hotel.
Yeah. There's a big soccer
we needed authorization for it, remember?
Yeah, big time.
And we negotiated authorization, and actually Acapulco Tourism did that for us.
Yeah, I think it was only because of them that they actually pulled it off, because I don't think the authorities would have normally let us land there.
So we're extremely motivated. We're getting there. Right? At the end of the day, Acapulco is a nice place because it's a diving capital of the world.
Capital of the world, and we're spending the weekend there.
Beautiful.
Well, Saturday anyways, yeah.
We prepared for the weekend, our first weekend.
That was a Friday.
And our excitement level was very high.
Yeah,
remember that?
Super high, absolutely.
Extremely high.
Yeah.
And we were approaching a bay, and then what happened?
Yeah, so it was interesting. This was a communication issue. So we're getting into this bay, and if you can kind of picture it, there's a bay, and there's an inlet, and the coastline, and the airport that we were going to was right on the coastline. And I'll kind of keep the story as short as I can here. So essentially,
there are some important details there.
There's some important details. So essentially, we're communicating initially in English with the control tower, and then it went to Spanish. And when it was in English, we were about 25 miles back from the airport. And I heard him say, at such and such distance from the airport, there's a restricted airspace. Don't descend below 500 feet. And so I remember that. Okay, and I'm looking. So then it switches over to Spanish because you're like, okay, I'll start, because we could tell his English was not great.
Right.
So you started talking with Spanish, and I'm looking at the map, and you're looking at your GPS, and neither of us can find this restricted airspace. So we thought, okay, well, we can't see it on the map, so we're gonna just rely on him to tell us where it is, and obviously we're in control with him, so he'll let us know where it is.
And he gives us an instruction. He says, descend to 500 feet.
Yeah, this is later now. So now we're approaching the bay. We're about 5 miles back from the airport. And so then he tells us descend to below 500 feet. Below 500 feet.
Because I have a traffic.
Yes, there's a traffic departing the airport. And so we can picture this. We can see the airport. Okay, there's traffic departing. So we're going to make sure that we stay clear of him. And there's this inlet, this bay, and from where we were, there was a straight line to the airport. And then you would have to go slightly around to stay on the coastline and follow the coast in. And so the bay, going in the bay made more sense because it was direct. So you started descending, and I'm like, whoa, what are you doing? We had that restriction. He said, no.
He told us below.
He told us below 400 feet, or below 500 feet. And I said, are you sure? So then and I filmed this, so we actually had it on camera. And I said, are you sure? So you said, well, let me check. So you did it in English again. And you said, confirm you want us below 500 feet and direct to the airport. Yes.
And airport. Okay.
Yes.
This is all happening where a lot of enthusiasm because we were looking at the sightseeing and airports, then hotels and everything.
Yeah.
I was pointing out the hotel that we were
filming
supposed
everything,
to stay,
looking around. Yep.
But we were confirming all this.
Yep.
And then, okay, let me make sure.
Yes.
And I asked him from present position.
Yes.
I want to make sure it was present position.
Yes.
Because we had that idea of the restricted, right?
Yep.
But we couldn't find it.
Yep.
So when we say that, man, I immediately see in front of me.
Yeah.
Misha, I see in front of me.
The biggest cable span.
Cable line. And it was,
There's about 5 cables, I think, 4 or 5 cables.
It was right in front of me.
Yeah.
We were going to hit it in the next second.
Yeah.
It was bang, right there, right?
Yeah.
So I have this immediate reaction.
Yeah.
And it was, for me, it was a supernatural power.
Yeah.
God was overseeing this for us. Absolutely. Because
you made the perfect correction on the helicopter. And you have to be so careful with the Robinsons that you don't over control that cyclic.
It was cycling collective was like just a small boom right there, right? And the movement was almost forced.
It was small but subtle, quick but subtle.
Exactly.
Yes.
I felt like being forced to do it because I looked at it. It was a split of a second.
Yeah.
Done it, right?
And I was looking to the side at the time, and I hadn't seen it, and you had just looked forward, and you saw it. And I didn't see it until it was passing over our head because you reacted, and I dropped my phone on my camera.
You said, whoa,
and I went to grab the controls, like, what is he doing kind of thing. And by the
crazy?
time I grabbed the controls,
what is he doing?
I look up, and there's power lines going, or cable spans going directly. There was actually a cable car that went through there.
It was near head.
So close. And that one shook
number
you
one
up. So
killer,
about,
number one killer in a helicopter.
It is, yeah, exactly. So talking about shaking you up and shaking me up, so this one shook you up more because you saw it firsthand. I saw the after effect. I saw the cables go by, and it shook me up. But you saw it initially. You saw the initial reaction, right? And so we debriefed on that one for we talked about it for the rest of the trip.
Yes.
But we debriefed on it hard for the next week.
Yes.
I don't think I let it go a little faster than you, but I don't think you let it go for...
No. Actually, you did the flying. You landed at the hotel, remember? Yeah. My mind was somewhere else, man. I was just thinking, what just happened?
You were 100%. And I was like, Ruben, let it go.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, man, I'm trying to shake it off, but I can't shake it off. I'm like,
we
need to let it go. We need to finish this flight.
I saw that hit that death in front of me.
Yeah.
Split of a second.
Yeah. So that was another milestone. That was a big one for you, and it was another one for me because it was like, man, this is 2 things now within the first 3 or 4 days, 3 days, where
confirming that around the world trip is not a
leg by leg, and it's things can happen that are just totally out of the blue that you just can't plan for. Like weather, you can look at the weather and you can make decisions on it, but stuff like this can come out of the blue and it's like, whoa, like this is getting serious fast. And it was the 5th day, I think, right? That changed right there my perspective on the rest of the trip. It went from this fun, exciting, cool trip to this is really serious business.
Yes.
we had a lot of fun and good times on this trip. Yep. And it's interesting because a lot of people ask us now afterwards, like, wow, the trip must have been amazing. It was exciting and whatever.
And it was.
But it was like, you don't know the details of what happened and how it really affected us. Like, it affected us. There was multiple things along the trip that affected us that made it way more beyond just a fun,
but constructive trip. I mean, I think it made us better pilots and better human beings as a whole.
For sure.
Huge impact it had on us.
But it changed the outlook of the trip for sure, for both of us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyhow, that was the 4th day, and we knew, as you said, from that point on, that this was just the beginning of things that we were going to encounter. So we're going to wrap it up here.
Yeah.
And next time we're going to
finish off
South America.
Yeah, we're going to talk South America and Guillermo, and yeah. Thanks for joining us on another episode, guys.
See you next
time. It's awesome. Yeah. Thanks. See you next time.